Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kieran and I help people using a spiritual perspective. Today I wanted to talk about something that's close to my heart, not my lungs. I want to talk about something important, an idea, and that is that spirituality is going in the wrong direction. Spirituality is often now seen as something that is basically a means to an end. Okay, and what I mean by that is I would like a new fancy car, I would like a new house, I would like a relationship, I'd like my ex to come back, I'd like to have more sex, I'd like some money, I want to manifest, right? This buzzword manifest. It's a nice word. There's even a TV show called Manifest, right? It's a shitty TV show, but the point is that there's lots of buzzwords, lots of people that really get into this, right? And a part of that is because of the law of attraction, which, if you know anything about me, I really do not trust or like. But separate video, separate topic, focusing on how spirituality is essentially now become this misguided attempt at getting more. Okay, and so it's no different than essentially anything that's you would think of as capitalistic, as commercial, right? Someone's trying to sell you something and they want you to feel insecure in some capacity, right? Just like marketing companies and things like that, right? And so people want to act like that spirituality isn't affected by those sorts of things, but of course it is. I mean, marketing as we know it today in North America and probably a lot of the industrialized world is something that was born out of the 50s, right? If you've ever seen Mad Men, you might know kind of what I'm talking about. But historically, that's sort of where a lot of our make them feel insecure so they can buy something comes from the 50s and 60s, right? So prime example would be, makeup, right? Let's make everybody aware that they have shitty skin and that they don't look right and that they need this to look better. And the reasons why they need it is because X, Y, and Z, right? Someone, they become more attractive, they get married, somebody likes them more, they look prettier, okay? It appeals to an insecure part of ourselves. And a lot of spirituality is the same way. People are going about spirituality in sort of a misguided way. It might not be good to say wrong way, but if the shoe fits, eat it, or something like that. I'm not sure how the expression goes. But spirituality is become this end goal. I'm not even talking about enlightenment anymore. The idea that we all must be enlightened and free and happy and peaceful, and then that should just be our lives every day. That's a whole separate issue. I'm specifically talking here about what we are doing to go about our spirituality, what we are doing to connect to our spirituality. And what I see a lot, what I see from a lot of people, what I see a lot of people or gurus or whatever on the internet doing especially, is teaching others values of commercialism, of materialism, but wrapped up in a nice little spiritual bow tie. And that, it just rubs me the wrong way, because what I'm seeing and what I've experienced myself in the years prior to this moment is a need to have more, or a need to get things, and not a focus on being okay with nothing, not a focus on accepting the divinity, accepting the humanity of what your life is. It's often taught that we need all of these other things in order to be this spiritual being, and so we start comparing ourselves to these other people. We use celebrities as examples, which is of course ridiculous. For every celebrity that's made it, there's a million more that haven't, right? And we start comparing ourselves to regular people, to other people, to these people on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or YouTube, and we have this false idea of what they're capable of, and how that relates back to us, right? So putting it simply, it's like, well, why are we so concerned with using spirituality as a method to get things, to get more money, to get the perfect job, to get all of this stuff, as if we're supposed to just skip over lessons, as if we're supposed to just skip over the important things. The journey, the process, understanding about yourself, learning things about yourself, knowing what it is that you dislike, what you like, who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, and your opinions and your beliefs, and all of the things that change over time. And it would be great, mentally, the idea of the mind, if we could just sort of skip all that shit and just go from, being this fully being who's let go of everything, who's completely at peace, and then just says, oh, well, I wish and I manifest, I had this great new job. And so this great new job would somehow complete us, and that would be the thing to get us to the next level. And we just want that to happen. We just want that. And we don't understand what it means, what it could mean. Of course, you probably heard of the saying, be careful what you wish for. And a lot of that actually is very true. We want to use all of this stuff to get what we want, but we don't really know what it is that's best for us. And that's a huge problem with trying to use the law of attraction or trying to use spirituality as a method to get to an end goal. Because it's not designed to be an end goal. It's not designed to be Chicago or New York. It's not some travel vacation that you just go to. You pack your bags and you just go. You take an airline, first class, hopefully, and you get there and you have fun and you're great. No, that's not what it's all about. It's the whole time you're here. And the whole time you're here, spirituality, in my own words, is about understanding yourself at the deepest level. Right? So I'll say that again without fucking up the English. Understanding yourself at the deepest level. That's what spirituality is about, in my own words. It's not necessarily about twin flames or spirit guides or law of attraction or manifestation or new jobs, better relationships, money, success. It's not even really about peace. Some of those things may be symptoms of what's going on, but ultimately what you're always doing and always focusing on is trying to bring a new awareness into the being that you're existing with, into this human experience. But a lot of spirituality is actually demonizing being human, talking about the ego and all of the problems in the world, right? Nobody wants to focus on politics, for example, and yet we live in a society, but spiritual people, it's like, oh, I don't care about politics. I don't want to know about politics. That's so 3D politics. What the fuck even is that? You know what I mean? What are you talking about? That's legitimately, something that affects you is politics. It affects your life. You can have all the spiritual beliefs in the world, but essentially it's going to be harder to be a spiritually awakened person, to live your freest, best life in a country that has a dictator, okay? So there are important values that are actually very human, right? Global warming, poverty, homelessness, politics, right? The people in charge, what we do for the systems and capitalism, right? There's lots of things that are important. And spirituality is trying to essentially these days say, oh, forget about all that. Push it all aside and let's just focus on being this enlightened being and we'll get everything that we want, right? And we'll just have all that stuff. But no, it's about creating a change. You're understanding yourself at the deepest level. You're not pushing aside your wants and your needs, even if they conflict with what you think is spiritual. If you, for instance, have a very deep desire to change politics, whether it's local or on a larger scale, and bring in a sense of spirituality, then that's a beautiful thing and you should nurture that, and I fully support you, right? But the idea of politics seems so unspiritual to so many people that they don't even want to do it. They think that they're wrong, right? And, I touched my mic. I hope that didn't hurt your ears. And so many people, even me, try to do things that seem unspiritual, right? There's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to do creatively that people have been like, oh, well, that's, I like a rap and I try to make, I make music, right? And I've heard people say like rap is a low frequency, low vibrational music. And I just think to myself, wow, that's nuts, because that's no different than what Christians used to say about metal, right? And it just kind of just plays this whole kind of paradigm out, this old, very ancient paradigm, and it's just, you don't like it, and so you're using a spiritual excuse. But no, it's not like that. A lot of the music that I make liberates me and frees me, and rap music in particular is very empowering to me. I'm not going to go ahead and stand behind some of the lyrics that are in a lot of rap music, fuck a bitch, get money, that type of thing is kind of, okay, great, that is kind of weird. But in a sense of what it does, it empowers. A lot of rap is empowering. And there's a lot of music out there that doesn't just focus on talking about women and money and drugs. Quite a bit of it, actually. And I tend to gravitate towards that rap more than the other. But the point is not my preferences or opinions on music. The point is that the things that we do have a special interest to us, and they aren't any more spiritual or unspiritual, but a lot of spirituality is going ahead with this narrative that you need to fit inside this box, and as you're fitting inside this box, make sure that you're trying to get as much as you can. And, focus on that. Focus on getting the relationship, focus on the money, focus on the job, focus on the peace and the enlightenment that comes. But never an acceptance of just, hey, life is difficult right now. Things might hurt. Things might suck. You just got your heart broken, or things are difficult, or you're having trouble finding a job, right? It's difficult because a lot of people who are on spiritual journey are making their own path. They're lost, and they're supposed to be. And so it doesn't help when people would tell me, for instance, oh, you need to, do this and do that, and be grateful and be happy and be optimistic and be positive, and focus on the positive thoughts to get the job, to get the career, the money, and all this other stuff. And yet, I just want to feel okay. I just want to feel okay with not being okay. I just want to say to myself, you know what, Kieran, you had a rough week, or it's been a rough, you had a tough go of it, and that makes sense. You're doing your own thing. You're going through a lot of stuff. That's the spiritual journey. You're not supposed to just skip over it. You're not supposed to just go from A to Z in one instant. You're supposed to experience your emotions and process them, and go through life and learn the things that you're meant to be learning, and would actually help you as an individual, as a man, as a person. And the same thing is true for you, dear watcher, that people will often in spiritual circles try to sort of hijack your own sense of individuality and try to put you into this world where you need to be behaving like this, or you need to start acting like this. And it's just detrimental. It really is. And I'm not holding back on this, because it really does destroy a part of yourself. The part of yourself that is small, that's a child, that comes up to you and says, oh, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. You're not supposed to just push aside those emotions with a child. It doesn't work. Nor are you supposed to deny them, those emotions. It doesn't work to force feed positivity, and it doesn't work to deny positivity either, right? We need to be more mature with ourselves, and we need to focus on a spirituality that allows us to be okay with not being okay, rather than trying to focus on getting more things for us. Because that is just the same as commercialism, as materialism. There's no difference than someone trying to sell us a TV so that we have a bigger, cooler experience to have, than someone trying to sell us this law of attraction manifestation idea where getting this dream house or dream car is going to somehow do the same thing for us. Just changing the language. It just changes the language to, oh yeah, well, because you believed in yourself and you used all the spiritual language, it's actually spiritual, but it's not. It's not that spiritual. You don't have to believe in the law of attraction to get what you want. That's exactly my point. So this video is really just about, hey guys, I want you to understand it's okay if you feel like shit. It's okay if your life isn't all right. It's okay if you're not okay. It's okay. You can be at peace with not being at peace. You don't have to compare yourself to this idea, to this place you think you should be, when ultimately the entire point of spirituality is seeing exactly where you're at and finding out the meaning of that. Why am I going through this? What's happening? Not put that on hold, let's get more. Because the dream job and all this manifestation will prove to me exactly how spiritual I am. That stuff is not proof that you're spiritual. It's not. It's proof that you're willing to try anything, no matter how desperate you may feel, in order to get an achieved end, in order to get to the end result. Right? Spirituality is not about the end result. It's about going through. It's about going through the journey, going through the experience, with hopefully an open heart and an open mind, even though it is quite difficult.